Put the needle on the record.
Brunson stops on a dime, launches. Oh yeah! Jalen Brunson buries it.
They give it to B. All right, here it is. Bernard looking for 50, and he's got it. Back-to-back 50-point games for Bernard King.
Now has Starks for Ewing. Ewing with the spin. Ewing, yes! 1 10 seconds remaining. The Knicks lead by 1.
You gotta love this Knicks team because it's always next man up. Mohamed Diawara, I'm staring at you. The Knicks, of course, took down the Pelicans last night, 130-125. Yes, it was the only 8-win Pelican team, but this was a game, once again, that the Knicks got behind. The Knicks looked sloppy. They gave up 41 points in the first to the Pelicans. They gave up, I'm gonna say that slowly for the people in the cheap seats. They gave up 41 points in the first to the Pelicans. It looked like one of those games that we went into halftime one more time. I should also rephrase the fact that the Knicks did score 37, but of course that is a 4-point differential. The Knicks go down by 3 into the half. The defense once again kind of comes up like 7-up, limiting the Pelicans only 28 points in the third, then 22 points in the fourth. And Jalen Brunson, once again, the king, the man, the guy that we always rely on.
And they get a stop. Brunson. Here comes the trap. He looks at Karl Anthony Towns. McBride covered. OG Anunoby. He's rolling to his strong side, and he gets there.
That was OG Anunoby with a big dunk that put the Knicks up by 1. That was 122-121 with 1:48 left. This is just a team. Like I said, this team is always next man up. I love it. There is a championship. I don't want to say it because I don't want to put it in the ether, but I'm going to now. There's a championship vibe with this team. There's this feeling, you know, at certain times, like, you know, the 86 Giants, the 86 Mets, you had these feelings about teams that when you watch them play, it's like every person has their role. Every person plays a part. When someone goes down, you got Kevin coming up one night. You got Muhammad coming up last night with 18 points. I'm not going to call it. Some people are calling it an eye-opening performance. I'm not going to call it that yet with Mohamed Diawara. I'm not going to call that yet. Dropping 13 in the first, went 3 for 3 from the arc, finished with a career high 18. I'm just saying, you know what? This team, when they need someone to step up, they step up. It was also nice to see the return of Miles McBride. Miles McBride, we out with that sprained ankle, which seems like for an eternity, comes in, drops 14 points. It was one of those performances that you were like, are they going to overuse him? Are they going to reach that point where it's going to be like, oh, you know what? We're going to risk more injury to get a terrible win against a bad team. But McBride said it best. You just gotta have faith. And that's what you have to have in this team. Honestly, just my faith, McBride said, in the mindset. I prepare for these moments. I trust God and preparation to go out there and give my best. Again, he comes back from a 9-game absence. 12 of his 14 points come in the fourth. He nailed a pair of foul shots to put the Knicks up by 3 with 16 seconds. And then up by 5 with 5.5 seconds remaining. It was nice to see. We're starting to get the compliment of players back. We still got a long ways to go. We're still looking. I'm still waiting for Josh Hart to get healthy. You know, it's one of those things that I would love to see this Knick team when they have everyone healthy. When you're not starting Muhammad, when you have Josh Harden, when you have OG Anunoby, when we have Karl Anthony Towns, we have Bridges, we have Brunson. I would love to see Landry Shamet come back sooner than later. But right now, Kevin is coming up like 7-up. Tyler Kolek, you know, quiet night in 12 minutes, but he did have 7 points and 5 assists. He has been the facilitator that we have needed off the bench. I crack myself up with Ariel Hakaporti. I really do. Because Ariel Hakaporti is the consummate role player. He does certain things well. He does certain things not well. But he has a role. And I've said this before, if you're an old-time Knick fan, he reminds me of that great player who wore number 1, Ken the Animal Bannister. He reminded me the 2 years that Buck Williams was coming over. Buck Williams, of course, was that stalwart forward that everyone remembers from the New Jersey Nets and then over to the Portland Trail Blazers. But Ariel Hockporty's job, he's got 12 points, and the only stat that he had on those 12 points were 2 fouls. Because all he does is come in. It's like I said, it's Ken the Animal Bannister. Ken, go in there and be tough. Go in there and exert a presence. And I like it. Never, like Ariel's never going to give you those big numbers. He's never going to give you those big points. I love it. I was talking to a brother of mine, and he was like, this was a couple weeks back. He was like, guess Ariel's stat line. And I was like, 2 points, 5 rebounds, 4 personal fouls. He's like, well, you're pretty damn close. He had 3 personal fouls. But everyone has a role. Everyone has them. In this early season, everyone has a moment. The biggest moments that we always have, of course, is going to be Jalen Brunson, but everyone's having a moment on this team. It's like you have a moment to shine. You have a moment to step up. Let's just do it. And the Knicks have been doing it. And I'm very excited that this team is where they're at. I keep backing away from the Giannis trade. And evidently there's news and speculation that the Giannis trade is not going to happen. But I've said this before. The Giannis trade would remind me of the Carmelo Anthony trade. We had a unit playing a cohesive game of basketball with Amari Stoudemire leading the way at the time, which was an MVP performance. We traded for Melo, and I do not think that trading for Melo was wrong. Melo was one of my favorite players outside of Walt Frazier. But you brought this guy in the middle of a season when you had this continuity, and then the Knicks still make the playoffs, but they go 14-14 with Melo. I don't want to say the same. I don't want to see the same thing with Giannis because, like I said, I see a cohesiveness with Brunson, Bridges, and OG Anunoby, and even Karl Anthony Towns. And then when Josh Hart gets back, you have, I'm going to say it again, outside of OKC, I think the Knicks starting 5, one healthy, is second best in the league. And anything can happen in a 7-game series. And it's interesting that we are not solely relying on one player on the bench. Like I said, it's Muhammad. Well, Muhammad started, but it's Muhammad one night. It's Trey the next night. It's Kevin the next night. It's Tyler the next night. And now that you get back Miles McBride, now that you have Jordan Clarkson, who to me still has not found his shot completely, but he seems to be getting more into the flow every week, every game. You have bench players, like I said, Ariel Hockporty, who understand their role. Gershon, to me right now, Gershon is the odd man out. He did have 9 points in 16 minutes and 2 rebounds, but we still need some grit and we still need some toughness off that bench. And I think in February, we're going to probably part our ways with Gershon. I would like to see a little bit more scoring from the forward position off the bench itself. I'd like to see a nice, strong power forward. I'd like to see a little bit more of a defensive rebounding presence with a little bit of offense. Like I said, not against you, Ariel, but I like seeing someone come in there with a little bit more offense. Again, we missed, Mitchell Robinson was out yesterday as well. So, I mean, I'm just curious to see when completely healthy what this team is truly going to look like. I mean, we're always going to rely on Captain Clutch, which of course is Jalen Brunson. He had 28 points last night. He also had 10 assists and 3 rebounds. Bridges just does that thing he does. This time he only had 6 points, but again, 10 assists and 5 rebounds. Karl Anthony Towns in 30 minutes, 12 rebounds, 12 points. And then OG Anunoby, of course, he had 23 points and 11 rebounds and 1 assist. It's just, we want to, I love the cohesiveness with this team. Not that I'm saying, maybe I am saying, let's just leave the Giannis thing alone. I said, that's the worst thing for this team. And I see a lot of people saying, well, there's bad news on the Knicks Giannis trade. Milwaukee is making it crystal clear Giannis is not available, according to NBA insiders who have reached out to the Bucks GM and about requiring the Greek Freak. And he again firmly rejects the fact that they're going to be trading Giannis. I'm kind of glad. I want to see this Knick team play out. I think you have a 2-year championship window. This is year 1. I think Mike Brown is the right coach for this moment after you have a hard ass for 5 years in Tom Thibodeau. And now you have this coach which is offering you flexibility, with this coach which is offering you the ability to have a free-flowing offense. Now, the problem is this: you're going to need to play competitive defense for 4 quarters, not just when you feel like it in the second half. That's something that Mike Brown's going to work with. It has that flow that you saw in Golden State when Mike Brown was there. It has this flow that you saw in San Antonio. And I hope that continues that way, because like I said, it's one of these offenses now that you need superstars to run it, but role players can come in and be successful in playing this style of offense. That's the way we need to look at it, and that's what we need to do. Knicks, of course. Oh my God, we love our Knicks. The Knicks have a tough schedule. I mean, we've talked about this early up. The Knicks have a tough schedule, and the Knicks have a tough road to hoe going into January. I'm happy and I'm excited about it, but I don't want to be part. I'm going to be part of it because the Knicks play tomorrow, of course, in San Antonio. Then they come home to the Hawks on Friday. Then the Sixers on Saturday. On the 5th, they're over in Detroit. On the 7th, they have the Clippers at home. And then on the 9th, they have the Suns. So you have this, we're in Phoenix. You have these road trips combined in with some tough not back-to-back, but one-day rest home games. This is going to be the meat of the season. This is going to be what we've came here for. This is going to be what we're playing for. And I feel the Knicks can do what they need to do to get close to that number 1 seed to help them get an easier draw in the playoffs. Oh, I love doing Knicks stuff. And don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to set all your notifications. This is Tim. This is New York Knicks Unleashed, and I'm out of here.